What's going on, guys? So today I want to talk to you about building up momentum, okay? The biggest thing I notice is that people, they try and go all in straight away, change everything at once, and they forget how important, or how hard it is, I should say, it is to change an entire lifestyle. Like if you're someone who's been doing a certain job, living a type of lifestyle, waking up at a certain time, going to bed at a certain time, having daily habits that are just kind of on autopilot, guess what's going to happen when you try and change all that stuff? It's going to be very, very hard to change, okay? Not impossible, but it's hard to change. The mistake that people make is they try and change everything at once, and when they try and change everything at once, they realize how fucking hard it is, and they can't stick to it. And they go back to their old ways, because firstly, going back to your old ways, that's what your body knows. You're not going to do any different. That's exactly what your body, it has these instinctual habits that it's going to go back to, firstly, because it's easier, and secondly, it's because they don't realize that they had to focus on one thing at a time. So what I want you guys to start thinking about is the law of compounding, okay? Because one, goes to two, two goes to four, four goes to six, etc. Things build up over time, right? But we need to start with that number one, focus of the habit that's going to build you up. So instead of trying to think about every little thing you can do that's, that you can change all at once, instead of thinking of that, think about every little thing you can do and pick one thing to start working towards. The reason for this is because once that one habit becomes instinctual, becomes a habit, then you can work on your next one. Then you can work on your next one, right? That's how you build up things over time. It's the same as habit stacking that I've talked about. However, if you just try and change everything, it's not going to fucking make a difference at all. I'm telling you that right now. People should know this. You're not going to make a difference at all, all right? So when it comes to making these habit changes, think about the easiest thing you can implement first. What is the easiest thing to focus on that you can make an adjustment with? All right? Is it protein? Is it walking? Is it fruit? Is it veggies? It doesn't matter what it is. There's going to be something everyone's going to have something different to focus on. All you need to do is pick what is that lowest hanging fruit. And do not change anything until you can get that down pat for at least 2 to 4 weeks. All right? Everyone says it takes 21 days to build a habit. It probably takes longer for some people, shorter for other people. It's all different. However, it's going to take time. Let's just remember that. It's going to be a time component that you need to think about. So don't try and think about, once I do this for a week or two, everything's going to be hunky-dory. It doesn't happen like that. I wish it did, because that means you can add way more habits in. However, this is a long-term game, all right? When it's a long-term game, that also means that it's like, you've got to learn that there are rules to the long-term game. It's the same thing as a job. You can't be like, I want to be the CEO tomorrow. Not going to fucking happen. Even if you wanted to go out and do your own thing tomorrow, and you're like, you know what, fuck this, I'm going to go, be my own boss. You're not going to be the CEO of your company that's multi-million dollars when you haven't even left the ground. It takes time to build up. So you need to start applying that same thing to your fitness and health goals, all right? This is the long-term game. It's not a 12-week challenge. You're going to be doing this shit for the rest of your life. What you want to focus on for yourself is actually doing things that are going to be easy to implement at first and build up over time. Now, some people are going to find things that are naturally easier to them than others. There's a reason I'm a PT and I use fitness habits, because it's easy for me to implement fitness habits. For you, let's say you're a financial advisor, you're a lawyer, you're an accountant, you're a firefighter, whatever you are, like your natural instincts are built towards something else, People are fucking naturally good at numbers, and they're like, it just comes naturally to me. Yes, we all have strengths and weaknesses. So what you need to think about instead is, what is your strength that you can focus on in these health and fitness habits, and build off that. Then from there, we can work you into doing different things and building it up. So don't try and pick the weakest, hardest thing. Try and pick the easiest thing that's going to work in your favor first. Because when you've when you've got that first habit down pat, it just becomes easier to start building up over time for the rest of that stuff. All right. So I really want you guys to start focusing on building the compounding interest for your habits. Take your time. I've talked about habit stacking in another one, all this type of stuff. Start small and build up. There is nothing wrong with aiming low and building yourself up over time, because when you look back in 12 months time, it's going to be completely different. All right. So I want you guys to go ahead and get stuck in with that. If you have any questions, as always, make sure to hit me up on Instagram at tysonthetrainerr with 2 R's at the end. And if you have any questions,